not wanting Charlie's caricature to survive when the actual Charlie Kirk individual, who Charlie Kirk actually is so much more important. The caricature, the cartoon, is that Charlie's this young, smart guy, made a career out of debating college kids.
What they have told us about Lance Twiggs. Obviously, we're going to go over this indictment. This kind of came up in the umpteenth hour. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion on it. There's more going on here. Very clearly, there's more going on here.
Candace Owens is no stranger to controversy, but this latest rumor has sparked a firestorm even she didn't seem ready for. Online speculation has exploded, claiming that Charlie Kirk's wife may have secretly betrayed him, and the internet is now watching closely to see how Candace reacts, and she's not staying quiet. Let's tension building between conservative influencers and whispers of private feuds leaking into the public eye. Viewers are asking, did something happen behind the scenes that pushed Candace Owens over the edge? And if you're new here, please help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button.
For me to do this for a lot of reasons, but I knew it was important because I didn't want the last thing that people had in their minds about Charlie to be the moment he lost his life. That was what was especially hard because he's just had so many amazing moments throughout his career. And as I was saying, I was having this discussion with George this morning, obviously through a lot of tears, about not wanting Charlie's caricature to survive when the actual Charlie Kirk individual, who Charlie Kirk actually is so much more important. The caricature, the cartoon, is that Charlie's this young, smart guy, made a career out of debating college kids, decided not to go to college, started Turning Point USA. And I think a lot of people thought that Charlie must take himself a bit too seriously. And I want you guys to know that that could not be further from the truth. Charlie and me were always laughing. Yes, he was ambitious. Everybody knows Charlie is ambitious. I met him back in 2017 when Turning Point was this very young organization.
Okay, so we're receiving so much information. We have the exclusive for you on the mysterious trans boyfriend's family, what they have told us about Lance Twiggs. Obviously, we're going to go over this indictment. This kind of came up in the umpteenth hour. I'm going to tell you my honest opinion on it. There's more going on here. Very clearly, there's more going on here.
The spark that ignited the rumor mill didn't come from an official statement. It came from a string of vague but loaded online clips that fans began dissecting like a crime scene. A TikTok compilation went viral showing Candace's interviews side by side, and watchers noticed something unsettling. Her energy noticeably shifted anytime Charlie Kirk's wife was mentioned, almost like she was biting her tongue. That's when speculation took off. Across Twitter, Reddit threads, and conservative commentary channels, users began piecing together the moments that didn't feel right. Some pointed out a moment during a Turning Point USA event where Candace offered a smile that looked more like a warning. Others claim there was a visible tension backstage, caught briefly in shaky phone footage that had people zooming in and slowing it down frame by frame like it was a political scandal. That's when a new theory exploded. This wasn't just drama, this was betrayal. And once that word entered the conversation, everything changed. As speculation grew, fans began revisiting older footage and interviews, convinced the signs had always been there. One clip in particular started making rounds. A podcast moment where Candace made a seemingly harmless joke about loyalty within conservative circles. But viewers claimed her delivery felt a little too sharp to be innocent, like she was sending a message that only certain people would understand. Suddenly, what once looked like friendly banter was now being rewatched through a completely different lens. Then came the whispers. Allegedly, behind the scenes, there may have been a private disagreement involving Charlie's wife that Candace felt crossed a line. Nobody knew exactly what happened, but the tone of the conversation online shifted from curiosity to intensity. Theories ranged from something said in confidence being repeated to claims of someone playing both sides for influence. And in a space where loyalty is everything, even the hint of betrayal is enough to set off a storm. That's when people began saying, Candace isn't just upset, she's calling someone out without naming them. And the internet wanted names. At this point, the fan theories shifted from vague curiosity to full-blown detective mode. Users began pulling timestamps, analyzing body language, and calling out moments where the atmosphere between Candace and Charlie's wife felt noticeably tense. A resurfaced backstage video, just a couple of seconds long, showed Charlie greeting his wife with a quick whisper before glancing toward Candace, who looked away with a tight smile. It was subtle, but to the internet, subtlety is fuel. Comment sections became flooded with comments like, Candace knows something, and she's holding back, you can see it in her eyes. Whether it was accurate or not didn't matter. The audience believed there was a deeper story, and that belief spread like wildfire. Some even claimed Candace began strategically distancing herself from certain appearances, allegedly declining events where Charlie's wife would also be present. Things took a more public turn when Candace appeared at a recent live event, and her tone felt noticeably different, sharper, more guarded, like she was choosing every word with precision. Viewers noticed she made a pointed comment about fake unity behind closed doors, and the crowd laughed. But the way she delivered it had people replaying the clip over and over. It didn't feel like a joke. It felt like a warning shot. Influencer commentary channels immediately jumped on it, suggesting that this was Candace's way of speaking without naming names, a trademark move she's used before when calling out people she believes are disloyal. Fans claimed her body language told a bigger story. The composed smile, the tense laughter, the way her eyes shifted whenever loyalty was mentioned on stage. Suddenly, it wasn't just internet speculation anymore. It felt like Candace was acknowledging the rumors without ever needing to confirm a thing. And that kind of silence speaks louder than any statement ever could. As soon as that clip spread, other conservative commentators began chiming in, some subtly, others with zero hesitation. A few podcast hosts made cryptic remarks about people in the movement who smile in your face and whisper behind your back, and audiences immediately assumed it was connected to the brewing tension between Candace and Charlie's inner circle. Suddenly, it wasn't just a rumor. It was turning into a conversation influencers were hinting at, but refusing to fully address. Speculation kicked into overdrive when one commentator said, "There are certain wives in politics who think influence makes them untouchable." He didn't name anyone, but that single line went viral across TikTok, instantly tied to Charlie's wife in the public eye. Fans began saying this wasn't just drama, this was a fracture in one of the most tightly linked conservative brands online. At this point, people weren't asking if there is betrayal, they were asking what happened and how far it really went. And that's when Owens turned back to Candace, waiting to see if she would finally say the quiet part out loud. As the rumor escalated, pressure began mounting directly on Candace to either clear the air or let the speculation continue consuming the narrative. Social media comments flooded her live streams and Q&A sessions, with people boldly asking if she was referring to Charlie's wife in her fake loyalty remarks. Instead of shutting it down, Candace did something that only added fuel. She laughed it off and changed the subject without denying anything. That single move had viewers convinced that something real was brewing. Fans commented things like, "If it wasn't true, she would have shut it down instantly," and "she knows exactly what she's doing." Even supporters who usually defend Charlie Kirk's camp found themselves divided, picking sides in a feud that hadn't even been officially acknowledged yet. Candace's silence wasn't just silence anymore. It became a statement on its own. And with every non-answer, the internet became more convinced that the betrayal rumors weren't just made up. Things reached a new level when Candace released a segment where she spoke passionately about people who pretend to be allies but play both sides for personal gain. She didn't say any names. She didn't have to. Her tone was sharper, the pauses heavier, like every word was loaded with meaning, meant for someone specific. Viewers pointed out that she seemed more emotional than usual, almost as if whatever happened wasn't just political, it was personal. Clips from that segment went viral, with users stitching it over footage of Charlie and his wife at events, creating a narrative of hidden tension and unspoken fallout. Some began speculating that Candace may have felt betrayed on a professional level, but also on a level of personal trust, which made the rumored situation even more intense. A few even claimed that her body language looked like someone who had been holding back for too long. Suddenly, this wasn't just internet drama. It felt like a storm about to break on camera. And fans were waiting for the moment she finally said what everyone else was too afraid to say out loud. By now, the audience wasn't just observing, they were choosing sides. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds, with one half defending Candace and insisting she was exposing hidden disloyalty, while the other half claimed people were reading too much into harmless interactions. Memes, reaction videos, and conspiracy-style breakdowns flooded every platform, with users slowing down footage and highlighting micro-expressions, like detectives piecing together a scandal. Some supporters even began tagging Candace directly, urging her to name names and stop protecting people who don't deserve loyalty. On the flip side, a smaller but vocal group started defending Charlie and his wife, saying the rumors were disrespectful and dangerous. But even then, nobody could ignore the uncomfortable silence from the people involved. Not a single direct denial, not a single unified front. That silence, it only confirmed to viewers that something was seriously off behind the scenes. And the longer nobody spoke, the more powerful the rumor became. With speculation reaching a peak, fans began predicting that a public confrontation was inevitable. Some were convinced Candace would eventually address it head-on, while others believed she was waiting for the perfect moment to drop something explosive. Podcast hosts began teasing upcoming episodes with phrases like, "There are conversations people are not ready to hear yet," which only intensified the suspense. At this point, the internet wasn't just watching, they were waiting for a slip-up, a moment where someone would say one word too many and confirm everything. Commentators noted that Candace seemed almost too composed, like she was holding back an avalanche with a rehearsed smile. Meanwhile, Charlie's wife stayed completely silent online, which only fueled the narrative that someone was hiding from the storm rather than facing it. Fans didn't want apologies or PR statements. They wanted the truth, raw and unfiltered. And everyone knew one wrong move could blow everything wide open. As all eyes stayed locked on Candace, the atmosphere around the conservative influencer space felt different, tense, cautious, like everyone was waiting for someone to slick. Even those who normally avoided drama seemed unusually careful with what they said on live streams and interviews, almost like there was a silent understanding not to trigger something bigger. It felt like the calm before a PR storm, and viewers could feel it too. Some fans began theorizing that Candace might be preparing to speak more openly, waiting for the right platform or moment to drop what many believe could be a bombshell revelation about loyalty behind the scenes. Others believe she's already speaking, just not with names, but with pointed truths meant for those who know exactly who she's talking about. And that's when the internet realized something important. When someone like Candace goes silent on a rumor this loud, it's not because there's nothing to say. It's because what she wants to say might be too big to take back. And now, everyone is just waiting for the moment she finally stops holding back. Whether the rumors are exaggerated speculation or a glimpse into a real fracture behind the scenes, one thing is clear. Candace Owens' silence has spoken louder than any official statement ever could. In an influencer world built on unity, loyalty, and carefully maintained alliances, even a hint of betrayal can feel like an earthquake. And right now, viewers are convinced that something has already cracked beneath the surface, and it's only a matter of time before someone finally says what's really going on. Until then, all eyes remain on Candace, waiting for the moment she stops hinting and starts naming. And if you're enjoying this, please help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button.